welcome to the Kieran Roberts Guitar Channel. It's been a long time since I posted the last videos. Those of you that have watched them, not many of you, but hey ho. I've done a video on how to play bar chords rooted on the E string, and then I've done a second video on how to play bar chords rooted on the A string. And I did promise you guys that I was going to do another video on 7th chords, how to play 7th chords, not just major and minor chords, but 7th chords rooted on the E string and rooted on the A string as well. So here I am finally. I apologise. After I'd done a second video, I moved to Cornwall. It's been a bit busy. I've got a new house. I've been trying to sort things out, trying to get things straight. I've got 2 allotments. So yeah, anyway, enough of the excuses. So I haven't done it, and then here we are, and we're going to do it today. So as per normal, if you've watched the last 2 videos, you'll know with me that I'm going to go through some theory. It's not going to be a lot. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos and you don't know how to compose a major and minor chord, i.e. root 3rd and 5th, root for flatted 3rd and 5th respectively, if you don't understand what that means, go back and watch the other 2 videos, because this is just going to confuse you further if you start with this now. That's why I left the 7th chords till last. But alright, here we go. I'm going to transfer to some sheets of theory and boringness. Won't take long, and then I'll get the guitar out. I'll show you how to play those shapes, and off you go. You can play major and minor chords, 7th chords. So out of the 7th chords we'll talk about in a minute, you'll have a major 7th, a minor 7th, a dominant 7th, and a major minor 7th, and I'll explain all what that means in theory. Alright, see you in a bit. Right, for those of you who couldn't be bothered to go and watch the last 2 videos and still don't know how to make a major chord, I'm going to be very kind and show you now. So a major or minor chord is made up of 3 different tones: the root, the 3rd, and the 5th, or 1, the 3, and the 5 if you want to number them. So, for example, if you want to make an A major chord, the root is the A. The 3rd is 4 steps from A, so A sharp, B, C, C sharp. C sharp is your 3rd, and the 5th is 3 jumps from C sharp, or your 3rd. So C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Yeah, so it's 3 steps. So a major chord is A, C sharp, and E. That's the notes that are in an A major chord. In an A minor chord, it's the same, except you flatten the 3rd 1 step. So you'd instead of having A, C sharp, and E, you'll have A, C, and E. So yeah, that's all I'm going to do now for that. I've been through it before. If you still don't understand, go and watch the other videos, and you might do, you might not. But you give my explanation a go. So now on to how a 7th chord is made. Right, so first thing, what is a 7th chord is probably the question most people are asking. A 7th chord is a major or a minor chord with 1 extra interval added. So it's not got 3 notes, it's got 4 notes. The first 3 notes are 1 3 5 or 1 3 flat 3 5, major minor, and the 7th note is added, and that can be kind of flatted or minored as well. So basically it's a triad, which is a major or minor chord, a 3-note chord with 1 extra note added, and that note is called the 7th interval. The 7th note is taken from the 7th note of the scale, the same as in a major chord. The root, the 3rd, and the 5th make up the chord, If we flat the third, it makes it a minor chord. However, with sevenths, it gets a little bit more complex for major and minor because you can flat the seventh as well, so it can be a major and a minor chord. Hence the fact you've got a major, minor, seventh. So if we take an A major chord with the tones A, C sharp and E, and we add a G sharp, it will become an A major seventh. If we take an A major chord with the tones A, C sharp and E, and we add a G, it will become an A dominant seventh. A dominant seventh and a major seventh are two totally different chords. As you can see, one's got G sharp note, one's got G, and you can't substitute one for the other, it won't sound right. So it's important to determine in your head the difference between those seventh chords, because they're not substitutable, if you get what I'm saying. The biggest problem understanding sevenths, in my opinion, is people are lazy. I'm lazy, included me. And generally, a dominant seventh is just called a seventh. People generalise a seventh chord and don't take into account it has a flat or a minor seventh interval in a dominant seventh. They just think it's a seventh. So it's best to use the correct names. A major seventh, which has a 1, 3, a 5 and a 7. A dominant seventh, which has a 1, a 3, a 5 and a flatted seventh. A minor seventh, which has a 1, a flatted 3, a 5 and a flatted seventh. And then a major minor seventh, which has a 1, a 3, a 5 and a flatted seventh. The reason it's called major minor is because the third interval is a major interval and the seventh interval is a minor interval, so it's a major minor seventh. I'll just quickly go on to another sheet now that will show you the intervals in like chromatic scale form, if you get what I'm saying. Right, so as we can see here, at the top of the table, if for want of a better word, you've got the musical alphabet, or I'm going to stop calling it the musical alphabet now. It's the chromatic scale. That's what's called the chromatic scale. So it's all the notes there are in the musical modern world, basically. And then above that, you've got R2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. That's the intervals of a major scale. So an A major scale is A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. Basically, so that's where the intervals of a major scale sit. And then I've put the different seventh chords underneath that, so you can see where they sit in relation to those major scale intervals, because everything's referenced to a major scale basically in music. So you can see a major seventh chord tone as the root, the third, C sharp, the fifth, which is E, and the seventh, which is G sharp. So that's a major seventh chord because it's got a major seventh interval there. It's got the major scale seventh interval. A dominant seventh has an A root, the third a C sharp, the fifth an E, and then it has a flattened seventh or a minor seventh. So it's got a G. So it's got a major third and a minor seventh, and that's called a dominant seventh chord. The next one, a minor seventh, has got an A and a C, so it's an A's the root. It's got a C, which is a flattened third or a minor third. It's got an E note, which is the fifth, and then it's got a G note, which is the flattened seventh. So a minor seventh has a flattened third and a flattened seventh. Then you've got the minor major. We'll spin over this. I don't really use it a lot. It can be used in a transition somewhere or something. But you've got a root. You've got a minor third, which is a C. You've got a fifth, which is an E, and then you've got a major seventh, which is the G sharp. You can see on the bottom there, I've put flattened third and flattened seventh in red. So you can see where those chords have a flattened third or a flattened seventh, or it's just from the major scale. That's it. That's that's the theory on 7th chords. You'll probably forget most of it once you learn the shapes and start playing what you want to play, and unless you're really into theory, and that's fine, as long as you remember they're different and you know the names and the shapes for those names, and you only use those shapes for those names. If you don't play a major 7th over a minor 7th in a bit of music, you'll be fine. So yeah, enough of the theory. Sorry, I'm lying. One more theory sheet, or 2 more theory sheets, and that's showing you the shapes for these major and minor 7th chords. Right, so we'll look at these quickly on the sheet, and then I'll show you on the guitar. But these are the bar chords rooted on the E string. So the first shape is a major 7th. It's a bit of a finger twister to change to that one. I tend to use the A rooted one as much as possible because it's quite hard to change, especially from a standard major chord to a major 7th. To change like that is a bit of a finger twister. And the minor 7th is the second one. You've got a major minor 7th. I never really use it, to be honest. And then your dominant 7th. That's the 7th chords rooted on the E string. Right, and then same thing again, really. You've got major 7th. Second shape is minor 7th. The third shape is major minor 7th. And the fourth shape is dominant 7th. And these are all the chords rooted on the A string. So 7th chords rooted on the A string. That's it, basically. That's my bar chord course over. I'll see you in a bit with my guitar, show you how to play the shapes, and off you go. Have fun. Bye. Alright, so I hope you can see properly. Major chords, 7th chords rooted on the E string. All the sheets will be available. You can download them in the description of the video. All the paperwork that was in the video, all the chord diagrams, everything's all available as download. If you like the video, I'll give you all this blurb like everyone else does. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell and all that old rubbish, please. Yeah, it would actually do me a favour if you did, but anyway. If enough people watched it to make a difference. Right, so 7th chords rooted on the E string. I'm going to start with the major 7th. Which is a bit of a finger twister. It's like almost like a backward upside down major chord rooted on the E string. You know what I mean if you've watched the videos. So basically what I do here is I put this finger here. This is an A chord, so we're going to bar here. Put this finger here on the D sharp note. This finger here on the C sharp note. And that finger there on the E note there on the 7th fret. And then we bar the 5th fret. So that's, see what I mean, like it's almost an upside down major chord. So that's a major 7th chord. Next one I'm going to do is a minor 7th chord. This one's pretty easy. We lift all these fingers up and put that finger there on the E note on the 7th fret, the A string. Now we're going to do the major minor 7th. Same thing, the minor 7th, you just put this finger here down on the D sharp note on the G string. 6th fret, B, G string. Fairly nice sounding chord, not used an awful lot, I don't find. And then dominant 7th, the one most people know as a 7th chord. Is bar, put your finger here like you would for a major chord, but miss out the little finger. So it's like a major chord, but we lift this little finger up. So and that's the one everyone knows. Major blues, dominant 7th blues, 12 bar blues. That's that one. So that's your 7th chords rooted on the A string. Sorry, E string. Sorry guys. Now we're going to do the 7th chords rooted on the A string. So instead of rooting them on this string, we're going to root them on that string. Gives you a whole another 12 shapes to play them in. Makes it way easier to go somewhere to change chord. So now instead of A's, this is going to be D's, because I'm still going to do it in the 5th fret, just for ease of A, playing it, and B, filming it. Major 7th chord rooted on the A string. This is your root. We kind of mute that string with the top of our finger. Look, we don't need to play it. You can play it, but then it makes it a over/over chord. So anyway, a D string there. Sorry, A string on the D note, D string on the A note, G string on the C sharp note or 6th fret, B string on the 7th fret or the F sharp note. All right. D major 7th, D minor 7th. We lift up the little finger and the middle finger, and put the middle finger there. Minor 7th, major minor 7th. Sorry, I'm looking at the thing while I'm talking to you and confusing myself. Major minor 7th. We do like the major 7th shape in the rooted on the E string, if you get what I'm saying. So D note there, D note on the A string, A note with a little finger here on the 7th fret on the D string, and then these 2 fingers on the 6th fret on the G and the B string. Again, weird chord, not used an awful lot. And then a dominant 7th rooted on the A string is like that. It's like the major 7th, but you lift up this finger. So yeah, that's the same thing as the blues stuff. So it's so on and so forth. The dominant 7th on the A string, so rooted on the A string, can be played in 2 different shapes. So there's an extra shape other than the one I've showed you. So you've got this dominant 7th. That's my favourite fingering of it. I like the sound of it better than this other one. Or if you know, you've watched the other videos, you know how to make a major chord rooted on the A string. You can make a major chord and you can put your little finger down on the 8th fret on the E string. Same. I just think that sounds a bit more better like that anyway. That's what I think. But I'm a fool and don't listen to me. Right, so basically you now know how to play major chords on the E string, that's 12 chords. Minor chords on the E string, that's 24 chords. You know, major and minor on the A string, that's another 24 chords, that's 48 chords. And you now know 4 different 7th chords rooted on the A and the E string, and I'm not going to do that maths live on camera in my head because I'll make a mistake. But yeah, it's a lot of chords you know now. Go and have some fun. See ya.